Hey guys, I am Tina Marie J. Welcome to this channel. So today I actually want to answer a question from a viewer, and she is a Kingdom Kid. And this is what she says. I have just recently started forming my own opinions about the church. To be honest, I am very concerned if I leave this church slash cult, my parents will never want to see me again. I'm 17 years old. Do you have any tips for me? Her name is Josie Schneeman. I hope I said your name right. All right. So, hey, Josie. So I decided to turn this into a topic just because I feel like I don't really have many videos that are targeted for Kingdom Kids. I don't realize that I probably have more Kingdom Kids watching this channel than I thought. So anyone who is a Kingdom Kid, if you are going through these emotions where you're starting to form your own opinion like Josie is, and you're starting to feel like, you know what, I'm not so sure that this is really a good church for me. I'm not so sure that they're doing things the right way. I don't feel comfortable. I feel like I cannot be myself. So I have a couple of things for you guys. First thing I'm going to say, you're a teenager, you've got the puberty thing going on. You're starting to really become an adult. A part of becoming an adult means becoming your own person. I remember when I was a teenager, my mom made me at 16 years old go to this teen night that they had every Thursday night at the church that I grew up in. And I did not want to go. And I started going and I liked it because there was a bunch of other teenagers. But then when I saw that I couldn't really fully be myself, like I couldn't hang out with the kids I wanted to hang out with because there was a lot of strict rules and I couldn't really do the things I wanted to do. And it wasn't anything crazy, but I was a teenager. Then I started to feel like I was forming my own opinions about the church as well, and even about religion. And I never really thought the same thing to my mom, but I thought it was all in my head. I thought it was just me. But as an adult, I can say now the truth is that what happened was that I was going through my own self-discovery. And a part of self-discovery is that you are starting to see who you are, not who other people tell you you have to be. So when it comes to the ICOC, you're right now more than likely attending because your parents are forcing you to go. You're more than likely going to church every Sunday and to every camp, those camps they have for teenagers and all the events they have for the Kingdom Kids. You're going to all these things because you're forced. I know that in the ICOC, I've heard stories of teenagers that were a part of the teen ministry and they were forced to do a lot of things. And anytime that they showed themselves, which means they were showing who they really were, they would be stepping out of line. So in the ICOC, if you show your true self, you're basically quote unquote stepping out of line. I call it stepping out of line because what happens is that the ICOC will see you shifting and they'll put you right back into place. Now, I've said this before in previous videos. When it comes to the ICOC, it's really all about remaining in line. Depending on how strict the church is that you attend, I had to remain in line. Anytime I showed my real self, I was always pulled to the side, spoken to, put in different meetings and all these different group things that I had to attend weekly just to put me back in line until I got so sick and tired of it that I just left. I was like, forget it, I'm out, I bounce. So that's what's going to eventually happen to you when you get to that age where you're old enough to say, you know what, I'm tired. I don't want to go to church this morning. I want to stay home and watch some Sunday football, or I want to stay home and just read a book, or I want to go out with my friends. There's going to come a point where you will be able to make that decision and no one will be able to stop you. No one will be able to say, you have to come to church. You only get to a certain age where your parents finally stop trying to force you to do the things that you don't really want to do. My point in saying this is that it's okay. What you're going through right now when it comes to forming your own opinions, and when it comes to finally coming to a conclusion that maybe this church is not really all that they say they are. Maybe this church is not all that they portray themselves to be. Maybe the way they teach the Bible is not really too correct, or maybe it's not too appropriate for Christians. It's okay that you're coming to these conclusions. This is how you feel. This is how you feel. Now, the person who asked this question for tips about what she can do, I don't really have information as to what exactly specifically her opinions that are forming are, but I can guess that obviously she's not comfortable there. Being uncomfortable is very uncomfortable in itself. Like, who really wants to be uncomfortable? Who wants to be forced to go to a church? Who wants to be forced to be a part of a religion? Who wants to be forced to marry someone? Who wants to be forced to be in a relationship that they're not happy in? Being uncomfortable is very uncomfortable. So we will always try to find ways to get out. But the difficult issue is that you're a teen. So what do? You remain uncomfortable, and the feelings just continue to build and build and build up inside until one day it's going to explode. So what you want to do is, before you get to the point where you may just possibly explode or fall into some depression, you want to talk to your parents. And I know that it's going to be very difficult. You probably are afraid, because in the comment, she says that she's afraid that her parents won't want to see her again. I don't know what type of parents you have, but any good parent would not allow something like this over a church to stop your relationship, because you can't stop being a parent. And that's the thing I, as a parent, don't understand about other parents. How do you just stop being a parent? I know that when it comes to cults like Jehovah's Witnesses, they like to stop being parents because their grown child decided they don't want to be a Jehovah's Witness anymore. So what do? They stop talking to them. They stop seeing them. They just don't know them anymore. They don't have a relationship with them anymore. And that is disgusting. That's despicable. There's no excuse for that. I don't care what religion or what church you're a part of. There's absolutely no excuse for that whatsoever. I could never do that. I don't care if my kids came and told me one day that they're both lesbians. I don't care what it is. They could be murderers. I still love my kids, and I'm still going to be there, and I'm still going to have a relationship with them. So really think about it. Do you really think your parents are that bad of parents that they would really not want to see you again? And also think to yourself, what's the most that might happen? Maybe your parents will be upset. Maybe your parents will be disappointed. Maybe your parents will feel like they went wrong somewhere. Where did we go wrong as parents that our daughter Josie no longer wants to be an ICOC member? We raised her here. She's a Kingdom Kid. She has friends here. She's gone through so many milestones in her life here. What did we do wrong that our child no longer wants to be an ICOC member? They might think that way. And I think that when it comes to the ICOC, a lot of the ICOC parents pride themselves on having children who are part of the ICOC. And I saw it all the time. They took a lot of pride in it. Their child would meet another ICOC member who is the same age as them, get engaged and get married, and they're bragging about it, and they're excited about it, and they're like, oh, my son got married, and she's a wonderful Christian, and she's a part of our church. They take a lot of pride in seeing that their child is growing up in this church, and they're remaining a part of the church even through adulthood. So your parents might possibly be disappointed. But here's the thing. You are becoming an adult. The thing, when it comes to adulthood, the thing is that you can't escape yourself. You can escape anyone. You can escape a church. You can try to escape certain situations, but you'll never be able to escape yourself. You wake up in the morning to yourself. You go to sleep at night to yourself. You are within yourself. You have to be true to yourself. You have to be real with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. And if the ICOC is not the church for you and you already know this now, or you're starting to feel like this is something that you're learning about yourself, embrace that. Embrace it and say, you know what, this is how I feel. I don't feel comfortable. I feel like they are not teaching the Bible the right way, and just embrace it, and don't be afraid to embrace that. And while you're embracing this, come to a point soon, and I mean very soon, before things get too out of hand, where you fall into some sort of depression, as I said before, but come to a point where you finally decide to sit down, talk to your parents, and be honest and real with them, and tell them, I'm not happy here. I don't feel like I belong here. I don't like the way things are being taught. I feel like I can't be myself. I feel like I can't be me. I feel guilty just trying to be me. And I'm a kid. I'm a teenager. I'm going through that process where I'm learning who I am, and none of this is a part of who I am. I mean, find your own words, of course, to say it, because the way I'm saying it, your parents might not take it very well, but I speak from an adult perspective. But find your own words on how to speak to your parents, and don't go in there with any expectations, but also don't go in there with the most negative thought ever. Like, don't go in there thinking, oh my God, I'm about to tell my parents I don't want to be a part of the church anymore, and now they're going to cut me off. They're going to send me to Uncle Louie's house, and I'm never going to see them again. Don't think the negative so quickly. It's so easy to quickly drift into the negative. You don't want to do that. But definitely have to talk to your parents and be real about it. So those are my main tips. Always be true to yourself. Embrace these opinions that you're forming, because these opinions are a part of you, and it's okay. There's nothing wrong with having opinions. There's nothing wrong with feeling like you don't agree. And be honest with your parents. Because guess what? Even as an adult, you're not always going to agree with your parents. My mom, to this day, tells me I need to pray. I need to thank God. Anything that happens in my life, my mom is like, oh, that was God. Oh, that was God. Oh, thank God. Thank God. I just go along with it. I'm just like, yeah. But do I honestly agree and feel the same way she feels about everything she says when it comes to God? No, I don't. And that is okay. It shouldn't have to be a problem. It doesn't mean that there has to be an issue in our relationship. It's okay. So when it comes to your parents, you really have to be okay with things not falling into the same place, not being on the same page, not even being in the same chapter. You have to be okay with saying, okay, my parents believe in this, or my parents like this church, but guess what? I don't like this church. I want to go to another one. Or I don't believe in this. I don't believe in anything. Or I believe in something else. Whatever it is, it's going to be tough. But don't let other people, just because they're older than you, make you feel like your opinions and what you feel doesn't matter. Don't allow anyone, just because they're older than you, or just because they're your parents or your family or whoever, or even ICOC members especially, make you feel like you have no right to say how you feel, or you have no right to be honest. If you can't be honest with this church, and you can't be honest about how you feel about the church, then should you really be in the church? That's the thing. So guys, that's really all I have for you. If you have any questions, any video requests, let me know. I would love to answer them in video form. Also, if you're going through anything, no matter how old you are, Kingdom Kid, adult, married, whatever, as long as you're a part of the ICOC, or if you're a part of any really strict cult, join my Beautiful Souls group. I have everyone in there who was a part of the ICOC, who knows what it feels like and needs that support and needs to vent and needs to talk about things. Join the Beautiful Souls group. I have my email. I have my social media. Feel free to hit me up. Even if I take a while to respond, which usually I respond quickly when it comes to social media. Emails, I take a little while, but I will always respond to you. Don't be afraid to jump in and say, hey, I need advice. Hey, I need to vent. Hey, I need to share my story, because we all have a story to share and we all have a right to be heard. So make sure that you check out the links down below. And I hope you guys enjoy your weekend. I know I'm definitely going to be enjoying mine. Okay, I love you guys all so much. I'll see you in the next video.